Russia's new goal in Ukraine, total control of the east and the south, which would give Russia the capability of opening up a land bridge to Crimea, the region Vladimir Putin annexed back in 2014. But with their failed attempt at taking the north, how will they fare in this new fight? Joining me now, retired Major John Spencer, the chair of urban warfare studies at Madison Policy Forum. Major Spencer, good evening to you. Thanks for joining once again. You predicted it would be hard for Russia to take the north because of the urban landscape, but the south and the east, a lot different, the areas around Kyiv. How are you assessing this new phase?
Yeah, Don, I think the southern aspects that we're learning about is a pipe dream. I mean, there is so much terrain there, so many urban areas like Odessa that Russia just can't do. And that's my assessment, of course. And I know the last guest talked about logistics. I mean, my 4 points would be urban warfare, urban warfare, urban warfare. They've shown they can't do it. They would telegraph that they were coming. They would close the castle gates. So Odessa is ready. Now on the east, that's a different story. You and I have talked about that. What they needed to fight that fight, and as of a week ago, I was like 18 guns. That's not enough. 18 artillery weapons. Now this new list, Ukrainians have now coming what is necessary to blow Russia off the face of Ukrainian earth.
Wow, you believe that?
I strongly do. I mean, 90 artillery rounds on top of what they already have. I mean, we were talking about 40,000 rounds. It's not enough. Now they're getting 140,000 rounds. If I honestly see, they already had the qualitative advantage. You and I have talked about this. They were outnumbered, but they had the qualitative advantage. Their soldiers are ready to fight, like we're seeing in Mariupol, to the death. They're motivated. They have a cause. They're the good guys. But now, if the way that we're arming them, though, as in the world and the West, they're going. I predict. This is a dangerous position, and every day is dangerous. But even President Zelensky said today, they listen. They're arming us now with what we need to push Russia, not just back to the original before this war, back to Russia.
Wow. Well, let's talk about Mariupol, because it's been under siege for a long time, but Russia has struggled to take places like Mykolaiv. So, beyond Mariupol and all these, what major cities in the south and the east could become major flashpoints for this new push, this new Russian push, Major?
Yeah, I mean, they need Izium fully under control. They need Kramatorsk. Cities sit at natural choke points of lines of communication, road intersections, hearts of political and population resistance. So they need Kramatorsk. They need Izium. They're fighting as we speak over Popozna, Crimea, Robizna. They don't own anything. Don, they don't own Mariupol after 2 months.
CNN spoke with the mayor of Mariupol on the defense of the city. This is what he said.
The truth is that the armed forces of Ukraine are defending Mariupol. Mariupol is the beating heart of Ukraine today. Our guys are outnumbered 10, 15 times, but they are defending, they're holding up, and they are remaining there. And they are frustrating the enemy as much as possible.
So everyone is saying, Russians were celebrating Mariupol, but how are Ukrainian forces in Mariupol able to frustrate the Russians if they are effectively surrounded?
As long as there's a living, breathing Ukrainian fighter left in Mariupol, it is not a win for Russia, and it is a win for Ukraine. To say that I faced over 15,000 Russians and I'm still here and you can't get me. As a matter of fact, Putin himself said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to blockade them. That means they've won. This is a strategic miscalculation again by Putin to leave them there, to be a signal to the rest of Ukraine, as in this is what legends are made of. Like the Alamo, the Spartans at Thermopylae. Those fighters are sending a message to all of Ukraine that they can withstand whatever Russia throws. So as long as they're still living, and it's dire, nobody really knows the true situation. But Russia has admitted that they can't get them out with overwhelming, like 15-1 forces. And they're using the power of the urban defense to smartly hold.
But Russian troops are continuing to launch airstrikes against Mariupol, and they're restricting Ukrainians from escaping the Azovstal steel plant. Is there any way that the people in that plant could get out to some safety there?
So Don, the fog and friction of war, to say that there is a way or there's not a way is hard to say. I mean, that factory with layers and layers and layers of underground, it can withstand any amount of bombing. Russia's just wasting their bombs. Russia has to commit forces there to hold it no matter what. Now they want to pull some forces away and send them to other fights that they're going to lose as well. But what supplies can get in and out is really not for us to know. But I've seen pictures of them as of yesterday, and they don't look starving. And now there are wounded, and they need medical supplies, and they probably have access to potable water. I think they could survive for weeks, if not longer. But I'm confident that the president, President Zelensky, said that he's going to do whatever it takes to relieve that force, to relieve that blockade. I mean, the UN secretary is visiting. They need to let the civilians out, even if they want to hold it and hold the fighters there. It's not right they're not letting the civilians out.
Major, thank you. Good to see you. Be safe.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you. So